today's video, I'll be talking car covers. I bought a little more expensive one from EVBASE, and then I bought the cheapest one I could find. I got this one from Temu. I'm gonna put them both on. I'll show you comparisons, some of the benefits that the more expensive one might have compared to the cheaper one. And then one of the things I'm worried about is, will it fit on my truck with all the accessories I have? And some of these pictures I've seen of these covers, they fit really tight. So I'm wondering, will it fit with my car charging? Will it fit with the roof racks I've added on? I've added a light bar. And all the way around here on front, I've added a grill guard. That'll be part of the test of this video also. So first I'm gonna throw on the low end, the cheap Temu one. So I just spread it all out and throw it on. I figured out here pretty quickly it was easiest when I actually put it over the car, and I kind of stretched it out in one line going from the back to the front and then rolled it out over the sides. And once I had the basic shape, then I went all the way around, pulling it down as low as I could all the way around, until I ran into a snag. The first time putting this one on, it is a tight fit, which I think is good, but I'm really struggling to get this driver's side mirror cover over. It's a really tight fit. I'm wondering if perhaps pulling on these roof racks and the grill guard are pulling it a little bit tighter than it needs to be to fit. So to make it fit, I had to pull it out from underneath the grill guard, then tuck it under the mirror, then I could actually pull it back over the guard. To be quite honest with you, it was better than what I was expecting for a cheap $25 cover. Couple things to note of: the mirrors have to be shut or this won't fit. And you might like to close your mirrors anyway to help keep it safe. So they have these little reflective strips on it. One thing that I was surprised by looking at this compared to looking at the pictures is the cover doesn't go to the ground. It really pulls kind of tight, but it doesn't quite reach the level of the running board. It does have this nice zipper on the side of it. It does let you access the truck. So if you had it all wrapped up for a storm and you had to get in, you could. You would just have to put the window down to open it. And then you would be able to access your truck that way. So as I'm going to pull this zipper down, you can tell with like the stretching here, like it is really tight. Now I know some of that is to do with I'm tucked under the hitch and I'm tucked around my grill guard in the front. If I wasn't really pulling these together, I would possibly rip this. And then also everywhere where there's a gap or a hinge or something, I have strings coming off, which again, I think that's probably to be expected when you're paying 25 bucks for a cover. So this is not a huge deal, but on the front, it doesn't line up quite like I think it should. So I noticed this little reflective strip. So initially I thought this was gonna be like protection, but it's not. It's very thin, it's the same level. So it's just to notice it. So if you had a black cover on your truck at night, this would be a reflector to make it show up. But the fit here on the front is just, it's a little wonky. And I'm a little worried my stainless corner of my truck is going to eventually cut in this over time. Then here on the passenger side, if you notice, there's no zipper. So that only zipper is the one down the middle over there on the driver's side. On the rear of the truck, again, you have this little reflective neon strip. That part is nice. But again, I'd be really worried about these corners because even not being under the hitch, they just pull. I think in a matter of a few months, if you use this on a regular basis, you could easily cut through this and you'd have to patch that. Lastly, before we get to the other cover that we paid a little bit more money for, is I do have my charger in this right now. As you can see, this does fit, but there's no real access to it. So if you wanted to take it out and put it in, you would have to pull it up, unplug. So as I roll it up, I found out this is the way to do it. Roll it all back to the middle and then roll it down really tight like you would a sleeping bag. Now this one did come with a little bag, but it was really difficult to smash it all in there. I mean, really difficult. And there you have it. Pretty easy. Now we're gonna throw on the more expensive EVBASE cover. Learning from the first install, I started with this one on the truck and again spread it from the base all the way up to the front, and then managed to pull it down over the sides, just snugging it all the way around. Quite a bit more play on this one, which made it quite a bit faster. So now I've gotten the EVBASE cover completely on. Time-wise was pretty similar, maybe a tad quicker because it's a little looser fit everywhere, which actually made it easier for me to tuck it around the mirrors and all those things. One of the things that jumps out at you right away is obviously this one is custom to your truck. Now, of course, the Temu one was also, but you have the little Beast logo there, which is really cool, kind of stands out. It also has like the mesh on the front here. Cheap Temu cover didn't have the mesh, and it's cool that if you were to sit in the car for whatever reason, for a storm to ride out or something like that, you'd still be able to see out your front-facing camera through that mesh. Somewhat similar to the Temu one, you do also have these little reflector strips. However, these one on this are quite a bit thicker. These are actually like a cloth rather than like a cheap, like a vinyl, almost like a really thin plastic. A little bit higher quality for sure, and they're also a little bit wide. The fit on the mirrors I mentioned earlier is quite a bit nicer. A part of me maybe wishes this was tighter, but then again, it was so tight in the Temu one that I could barely get it over, and that wasn't great. This will fit, but it's also cut out for it to where I feel like this is gonna keep this cover from ever blowing off, anything like that. Elastic around the corners. So the fit on the bed, again, on the EVBASE one is quite a bit nicer. Same thing, you do have these little reflective strips here again, but these, because they're a little bit of a layer of cloth, and again, it's not real thick cloth, but it's another layer, I do think it's, because it lands right in that corner, it's gonna help protect this from those pull points that I pointed out in the Temu one. It fits under my hitch, really nice, and again, still plenty of play. Is it has zippers. So if you needed to access your tailgate, this little Velcro you can unzip this, and there's one of these on both sides. So if you had this wrapped for like a big blizzard or something like that, and you had to come out to access your tailgate, it would still be there for you to get things out. You also have a zipper here on the EVBASE one, which allows it to open up. For what it's worth, you can tell this zipper is a little bit higher quality. Even like the pole of the zipper here is metal. The poles on the Temu one were plastic. The addition to the front zipper here is you also have a rear zipper. You also have zippers on the passenger side, of course the one in the front, but also the one in the back, so you could actually access all 4 doors and the tailgate all while the cover's on. So last 3 things I'll point out quickly. You do have tie downs, where if you needed to tie this to the rim of your wheel just so it wouldn't blow away, you could. The elastic on this one is pretty tight. I don't see it blowing away. Secondly, I'll tell you, this one goes all the way to the ground. I was disappointed that the cheaper one I had cut off above the running boards. And lastly, the EVBASE one here also has cutouts for your charging port. So as you can see here, I can charge through the base of the truck, and that's gonna help keep snow, rain, debris, whatever out I'm trying to protect it from. That part is nice in addition. So in closing, both of these are covers for the truck. They're both custom, they both will work. The cheaper Temu one, start with that one first. It's less expensive, which is nice, but I did have to wait almost 6 weeks to get it, so I've been waiting to put this video on since then. Some of the other benefits of that are it folds up to be quite a bit smaller. It's about the 1/3 of the size, so it might be a little bit easier to travel around. It has that little bag that comes with, but it's really hard to get it in, as you saw. The downsides, it was smaller, didn't quite cover as well. It was really tight around some of the joints. It was really thin, and I do feel like although it would work, it does have a shelf life. Eventually, I see that it's gonna rip somewhere along the line. So the EVBASE one, let's talk about downsides first. One, it's more expensive, still pretty affordable. And if you use my channel name Charisma, you're gonna get 20% off this, if not more. It's a little bit larger. I mentioned it's about 2/3 bigger than the Temu one, but it would make sense because it's a thicker material, higher quality. It'll still fit under the seat of your truck. So that's where I'm gonna store mine. But then there's the upsides. There's the zipper access to the tailgate, as well as the zipper access to the front and passenger door on the driver's side and on the passenger side, just compared to that one tiny zipper down the middle of the Temu one. In addition to the door zippers, it also has a zipper to open up for the charging port. The fit is because it's so much bigger, it does go all the way to the ground, and it will cover anything you had on the back or on the top, including roof racks, hitches, grill guards. It'll fit all of that. Still with those tight elastic on the edges, it's gonna pull in really tight and keep your truck really safe. The nights we're getting a bunch of snow overnight, I can put the cover on, I come out in the morning, just take this all off, not have to brush it all off. Mesh cover, which lets the truck breathe, be able to heat in and out. And lastly, having the little Cyberbeast logo on the front, which is really cool. It also has the extra wide reflective strip. Folding it up is really the same steps as the black cover. I fold it down the middle and then tuck it in like a sleeping bag, pulling it down from the front. As always, thanks for watching and subscribing to the channel. I'll see you in the next video.